не наш вопрос. Как говорится, если получаешь удовольствие, то это твоя проблема. Нас
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov warned Sunday that allowing disagreements between Moscow and Washington to escalate into a heated confrontation would be a crime. Speaking to Rossiya Win TV, he said misaligned national interests must be managed responsibly, or the consequences could be catastrophic.
твоя проблема.
It is Europe that has tried and is still trying to drive a wedge between Russia and the United States, perceiving some sort of tilt in U.S. policy under President Donald Trump in favor of Russia to the detriment of European interests as they see it. But the word interests is very relevant here. When a country like Russia does, our friends in China, in the United Arab Emirates, in India and other states defend their interests, they are treated accordingly.
Europe accused of reckless provocation. Lavrov directly blamed European nations for trying to drive a wedge between Russia and the US. He accused Brussels of sacrificing its own interests to support Ukraine and preparing for direct involvement in a war against Russia.
When, as in the case with most European elites, they have exchanged their interests for those of the Ukrainian regime and are using this regime in every possible way to fight against Russia, no longer hiding and preparing for a war with their direct involvement, then they will probably be treated accordingly.
Citing U.S. alignment and diplomacy, Lavrov referenced a February 2025 meeting with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, noting that Washington respects the national interests of other major powers. He argued Russia acts on the same principle, emphasizing that cooperation should be exploited when interests align.
Презентуя позицию.
Marco Rubio then said, presenting the Trump administration's position, that the goal is to adhere to national interests and that the U.S. will always respect the positions of other major powers that also base their actions on national interests. He added at the time that these national interests of large countries like Russia and the U.S. will not always align, but when they do, it would be a mistake not to use that alignment to implement mutually beneficial economic trade and investment projects. But when they do not align, it is not a mistake, but essentially a crime to allow that misalignment to degrade into a confrontation, especially a heated one.
Tensions rise amid UAE talks. The remarks came after closed-door security consultations in the UAE between Moscow, Kyiv, and Washington. Ukrainian President Zelensky expressed hope for progress, but reaffirmed he will not cede claims to lost territories. Lavrov lambasted Europe's media, claiming Brussels has trapped itself by cutting off contacts with Russia and becoming dependent on the US.